This video is part of the Tacoma Community College Library's How Do I Technology series. In my last video, I walked through how to begin setting up your PowerPoint presentation. In my next video, Formatting Text and Images in PowerPoint, I'll cover formatting the text, adding images, and playing with the layout of your slides. But for now, I just want to cover a few quick tips for what makes a stylish and engaging presentation. My first tip is to use bullet points or numbers when you have more than one main point to add to a body slide. Let's say that I want to break up my definition here into two separate points. The first point will be feline, and the second will be that definition that I grabbed from Google Dictionary. So I'll move my cursor to just before the quotation mark here, and then I'll hit enter to move my second point down to the second bullet. Now this template automatically gives me bullet points, which is nice. Some templates don't do that, and sometimes the bullet points look different depending on the template you choose. I can tell you how to change the styles of the bullets or the numbers in my next video, but for now you can see that having bullet points at all keeps my separate thoughts and ideas organized and clear for my audience. This leads to my next tip, which is an important one. Keep it simple. What you write in your slides should be kept to a minimum. Often people are tempted to write whatever they plan on saying when giving their presentation, but that can be pretty daunting for both the presenter and the audience. Let's look at a different example. This is a PowerPoint that I use in my in-person workshops. You can see that there's a lot of text on this slide. If you're in the audience, you'll either want to try to read the whole thing while the person is presenting, or you'll just want to check out because there's a lot to read. You don't want your audience to check out, but you also don't want them to be reading too much while you're talking. You want them listening to what you're saying, and the text here is just for a visual. It's mainly a summary of your points. A related tip to this one is don't read off your slide and then just move on. In a presentation, you should be talking to your audience, not reading to them. You should also be making eye contact with your audience, which is hard to do if you're reading off your slide the whole time. Therefore, keeping it simple allows your audience to keep up with what you're teaching them without getting bored or checking out. This is an example of a slide with too much text. And this is an example of a slide with the right amount of text. My next tip is to use either the same or similar fonts and font sizes throughout your entire presentation. Resist the urge to use a different font on each slide. Stick with one or two fonts total. That keeps your presentation uniform, which again makes it more professional. Your font sizes can vary a bit more because sometimes you'll have a slide with 2 points and other times you'll have a slide with maybe 5 points. You might need a smaller font size for the slide with more points, but avoid drastic differences in font sizes. Maybe the slide with a couple of points can have a very slightly larger size, let's say 20. You might want to also add an image to these slides with fewer points to fill in some of that empty space. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. The slide with more points, however, might have a smaller font size, let's say 18 or even 16, because the text itself is going to fill up more space on the slide. You can see that this isn't too big of a difference between font sizes, which still makes your presentation feel uniform. My final tip is to use images whenever they aid the points of your slide, but try to stick to only 1 or 2 images per slide if possible. Too many images is similar to having too much text. Images like the one here are great in a PowerPoint presentation because they add to the visual learning of your audience. They can even be humorous if done subtly, but make sure your image makes sense for what you're trying to communicate. Try not to be too funny because that often leads to using images that your audience won't understand the point of. The image being used in this slide, for instance, is illustrating that images and GIFs can help make a presentation more engaging. But if I were to use this on a presentation about ancient history, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Therefore, you have to pick and choose your images carefully and just make sure that it's not taking away from the meaning of the slide. If it really does help illustrate what you're getting across, you can use it. That's it for now. Stay tuned for my next video, Formatting Text and Images in PowerPoint, in which I'll cover formatting text, adding images, and playing with the layout of your slides. Again, view our other How Do I Technology series videos to finish the process of creating a PowerPoint presentation. To gain other important technology-related skills that you will use at TCC, check out my tutorials on formatting an academic paper in Microsoft Word. As always, if you ever get stuck, just come by the TCC Library's reference desk. Our reference specialist is there to help you with all of your technology-related needs.